The one that I sent to you, I typed that in, unless you want to copy that.
I can go make copies for everyone.
Executive session.
We can just pass it on. Just email people. Didn't you email them? Yes. Or is that just us?
I did it just to you guys because I was thinking it might be a draft, and then after I thought about it, it's always kind of a draft, so I should have just sent it to everybody.
Yeah, I'd say just send it out to everybody. Fine.
I've been having troubles with my email on my computer. It's got all these like authentication things.
There are 3 executive sessions in this
let me
meeting. I'm not sure which one you are.
Because
So that might be a question
it's asking me
for
for
Tom.
something that I can't authenticate. It's something on my computer. I'll figure it out, but lately it's been kind of screwed.
We're ready when you're.
So I have to do everything from my phone. That's why I'm kind of clunky.
And just wait for Shane to come back in.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
Hi Tina, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. I heard some peepers today. And
I heard of this.
yeah, I heard it.
I don't think they're
Weekend I did
peepers.
2 peepers. I'm like,
I don't
it's
think they're
springtime,
peepers.
I think.
it's the tree frogs.
Skunk in our yard.
I don't think it's peepers.
You're probably right.
I think it's
because-
false peepers.
False?
I'll take
You
it.
get tree frogs first.
I'll take it.
I mean, Andy would know more about all of this, but I'm pretty sure that tree frogs are first, and you think they're peepers. They're
Well,
not.
whatever they are, it's spring.
It's nice. It's nice that they're here.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yep, whatever they identify as, I'm good with.
Yeah.
You ready, Shane?
Thank you, sir. You betcha.
I'd like to call the select board meeting of Monday, April 15th, 2024 to order. Item 2, additions or deletions to the agenda. C1.
Yeah. I mistakenly left something off the agenda. So.
I move to add to the agenda as the first item under new business, consideration of contract award for storm damage and related excavation services for Memorial Park.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, executive session, appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee per 1 VSA 313A3.
I would recommend.
Who's the first one?
The first one is to include Andy, myself, and Tina, if you'd like to.
Okay.
I move to enter executive session to consider the appointment or employment of a town employee pursuant to Title I VSA Section 313A3 and invite Andy Dahlstrom, Tina LeBeau, and Shane O'Keefe to attend the executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Here's the draft minutes from town meeting. Thank you. Are you saving Jim's packet?
No, I put it over there for extra.
I've only been doing this like 30 years, I'm still there.
All right, what is
What are the stipends?
50.
Effective date,
50?
I heard.
should we do next payroll or
It's on the website.
just,
When would you be able to start next week?
Did you look through on the website?
Wednesday?
We'll just say beginning next, whatever Monday is, 27th. That's the next payroll.
22nd.
Yeah.
Second is Monday. That's fine.
It doesn't have to be that day, but
good,
effective.
perfect.
I just don't know. I don't have all the blanks filled in, sorry. Tom, are you filling in the blanks?
I got it too.
Mark, I'll help you make it, if you don't mind.
The custom section.
All right, should I go? I move to hire Robert Andy Dahlstrom to the part-time position of short-term rental administrator at a rate of pay of $43.27 per hour, plus a monthly stipend of $50 for cell phone usage, effective April 22, 2024, subject to completion of a probationary period of 6 months.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
There we go.
Get to work.
Thank you.
I started on Saturday by talking to one of our legislators.
Oh, good.
She wants to introduce statewide legislation next year that this would inform, so. Great. All right, well, thank you all.
Thank you.
How do I coordinate with you all? Does it all run through Tom, or does it run through Shane, or?
Shane and Jim.
On human resources.
Okay, all right, good. Well, I'll see you.
Yeah, there's a packet of stuff for you too.
Yeah, I'll go
Look
through
at
What
it.
I just gave you.
Yep.
All right, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Item 4, minutes approval, meeting of 4/1/2024.
I move to approve the minutes of the select board meeting of April 1st, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Item 5, select board pay orders.
I move to approve the pay orders for payroll and accounts payable.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 6, announcements and correspondence.
Just got a few things. One second here. Didn't print it out, but Planning Commission public hearing for the proposed comprehensive amendment to the zoning bylaw is scheduled for this Wednesday at 7 p.m. here at the town offices. And everyone should try to be here. We received notice today that the supplementary asbestos analysis of the town offices showed, the upper floor here showed that there's no asbestos, which was great. We thought there might be because of the type of ceiling, so that came back negative. That's really good news. Tom, are you guys going to mention Spring Hill Road at all?
Sure.
You wait till later, maybe, the updates, I guess.
Yeah, we can wait till we're.
Correspondence in the meeting packet that the select board has is, we have a April 3rd letter to Judy and Tom Platt forwarding a check, which was the leftover funds in the escrow account because the project came in under. We returned some money to them. We also have a letter from the town attorney to the environmental court that notes the availability of the town's witnesses, like myself and there's one neighbor, for the zoning violation case of the town versus Vermont wood chips. There's a merits hearing in May. We have an award letter from the Department of Buildings, and then we got the last meeting, you recall, we talked about a MERP mini grant, $4,000 to do ADA analysis at the town hall. We applied for that, we received it, actually got the cash last week, so that happened really, really quickly. I have John Sococcio, who's the architect of this building. He's going to be here on Wednesday for the bid opening for this project. He's agreed to take a look at the building and maybe do the analysis and come up with some plans for us. So we've got the money in the bank. That was very fast. We have,
Everything were that fast.
what's that?
Said if only everything were that fast.
Yeah, well, they just wanted to get rid of the money, clearly. Agency of Natural Resources, revisions to the above-ground storage tank rules, you've got that in there. You also have the latest check we received for participation in the national opioid settlement. We get this every few months, we'll get a few bucks, but all that money, we just turn around and give it to the collaborative. So it's just an injection of money to
How
them.
much have we gotten so far, would you guess?
All in, $600, $400
Maybe
bucks, a
400.
few $100s, but it's free money
Better
and,
than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, as my
Yeah.
dad used to
you know,
say.
it doesn't take any work for us,
Right,
just,
no, but-
it's
Divert
just,
the funds?
yeah, we just send them a check to
Nice.
collaborative, yeah. Blue Flame Gas sent us their annual letter. They give us actually a biannual notice to the town for underground propane pipeline distribution in the community. Lastly, there was a letter, thank you letter from the Chester Snowmobile Club for use of town roads. That's all I've got.
Hope you're gonna go to the barbecue. There's an
Why not?
invite to you.
Oh, I know, well, to you,
No, it's actually to George Mora.
right, oh,
This
so
was a
George
letter
can go, you
yeah.
guys can't.
Anything from the
Should-
town office?
Would you repeat the very first one was a meeting that you said we were all,
Zoning bylaw.
Zoning
Is
bylaw.
on-
Zoning bylaw,
Wednesday.
public hearing is Wednesday night,
Wednesday.
7 PM.
yeah, I have it written down.
Yeah, that's, and they, you know, on that, if they don't choose to make any changes, you know, like last minute changes, they would be forwarding on to the select board. And the select board's next action would be to accept it and schedule a public hearing. Realizing that the moment you notice a public hearing, then both the existing and the proposed zoning bylaws are in effect. And so that'll tear every hair out of Will's
So there would
head.
be a second public hearing after that?
The planning commission can have a second one if they so choose, or if they make any substantive changes. If they don't, they have their public hearing and then they vote to move it on to the select board.
And then
The
we're-
public hearing you're talking about is not the one on Wednesday.
No,
That's the
we're
planning
talking
commission's
about our own.
public
Yeah,
hearing,
okay,
then
yeah.
the select board has to have a
Select
public
board,
hearing
yeah.
in order to, you know, prior to the select board deciding, A, either to adopt it on its own,
Yeah.
or punt to town meeting.
And is that, those meetings coincide with a select board meeting, or does it have to be a private? It doesn't have to be a separate
It does
meeting?
not have to be separate.
Great.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7, visitors and concerned citizens. Item 8, town officials business. 8A is town treasurer year-to-date budget review. You don't have anything for us? No?
Next year.
Move on to item 9, transfer station solid waste management. 9A is updates. The only update I have is the next one, so. We'll move on to 9B, discuss shed roof replacement and repair for Keith's Shed. They started on Sunday. They have everything but the metal up. Started raining, so they didn't get the metal up. Metal will be up Wednesday. And it'll be replaced. Item 10, roads and bridges, 10A's updates.
Do you want to go ahead with your?
Well, I got numbers if you want them.
Sure.
Equipment fuel, this is all March, it was 1,739 gallons. Salt total for March was 82 ton, and the sand total was 210 yards.
Could you repeat the first one? 1,700 or 700?
1,739 gallons. This is for March.
Yep.
Is that about average for March?
From last year?
Yeah, or just in general?
No, I think that was a lot higher than like winter-wise. We had a busy March.
Yeah.
2 storms after first day of spring.
More wet and heavy, and
Big storms, yeah.
there was a lot of.
There was a lot of little
Heavy. Piddly storms
About a
in the
foot to the
middle.
floorboard, because you're
Yeah.
trying to get up the steep hills.
Yeah.
And I think I sucked down a lot more fuel that day plowing than,
4 times around.
yeah. It was 100 and, well, the last big storm, I think I used 153 gallons in just the truck I drive.
Just the truck? Just the
Yeah.
big,
Just in the dump truck I drive plowing, the last storm was 153 gallons, if I remember right. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
well, yeah, I know you mentioned Spring Hill, but Spring Hill's opened back up, the culvert. I have pictures of what he did, but there was looked like a triangle between the culvert and the header stones. And Scott Jensen was there, everybody, looked at it. Wes's idea and everybody's was, there was so much force there, it was hitting the embankment, turning and then washing the gravel away. Because you could hear the gravel running down the culvert. Friday when we were standing there, you could hear the stones. So we're going along that route, he filled the void in, he put filter fabric in, some larger stone, hoping we've got it repaired.
More armament.
Yeah,
Because the finer material that the surface of the road is made out of, I mean, if water touches it, it's gone
I mean,
essentially.
there was talks of concrete and Scott was totally against that, like, no, you lose any of that in the river, so you're diverting water, and this was the simplest, easiest, I guess, repair in Wes's eyes to, he removed all the stones down. There was one giant rock they didn't move, they pulled the culvert, put the new culvert into it, and it had a void. And that void, we're assuming just with all the head pressure, the water was washing it away. So,
The pavement's still majorly intact and.
yeah, I mean, a little void on the low side, but there's no worse a void than what was there for the last 20 years with the whole culvert.
I heard there was a vehicle fire up the road that probably did more damage to the pavement.
Fire
than that
Friday night,
did.
and I cleaned that up the best I could this morning. There was melted aluminum and tire and rubbers and, or rubber from the tire melted. It was pretty interesting. So,
Not good for our road. Let
No,
fire in the
no.
middle of it.
well, I wondered that, I mean, is that something, and another guy had a bad night, but did ruin that section of the road pretty much.
I had that thought in talking about it.
You mean like
If it's an
contaminants?
insurance policy,
Well-
if somebody's liable, I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody hits a
I
guardrail
filed an insurance claim on it, they'll no more kick it out.
for, I mean, signs and guardrails and other things, there's probably a limitation on it, but,
What are they gonna do, tell you now?
well, and if it becomes part of our plan, Spring Hill is on our list, but it might be a few years before that road is really taken care of, so might be a consideration. If it's bad, I didn't go and look at it closer,
There's
so.
still stuff, I mean, it melted right to the pavement, I couldn't peel it up.
Right.
And I took a shovel over there, and I mean, I was scratching, trying to get what I could, but it's pretty nasty looking.
You must have the car owner's name.
I don't, I assume the fire department does,
It'd be worth, and the only reason I say that, get a number what it costs to cut it out and relay it.
I mean, the only reason I heard it was on the scanner and then the Facebook pictures, but.
That'd be my suggestion, just get the owner and just say, hey, we'd like to file this under your insurance because of this. You got nothing to lose other than them kicking it out.
No?
Right. They'll sort it out for sure.
Yeah.
Unless we don't ask, then they'll.
Just gotta give me the information.
Yeah, you know I gotta have at least one question. So this is the one down by Cobb's Lumber, again?
Yes.
Where are we with that one, with the new one?
Year or so out.
25, right, in the Spring Hill Culvert.
Yeah, we can't do anything until probably June, when it passes what's called NEPA, which is the Federal Environmental Review. Things are backed up, and our engineer can't even do anything else on the project until it passes this environmental review.
It's because it was a federal pass-through grant.
Yeah, we're getting,
It's
So
federal.
that's all FEMA won't touch it, wouldn't touch it, that's what the holdup is.
FEMA says that we already have federal money, they won't give us any
yeah, they're
more.
not gonna fund it. So we have a $300,000 grant for the construction, a $175,000 grant for the engineering and soft costs and all that. We will have to spend additional funds at some point because just
Take it
the
to
box itself is $250,000. So it's, but because it's.
That was yesterday's price.
Because of federal funding, we have to take some certain steps, and it's frustrating, but that's what it is.
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're not.
And honestly, if we were waiting for FEMA money, we'd probably have to wait another year or two.
No, there's no FEMA's tough, trust me. Well, I'm just curious on where it was on it, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunate situation.
yeah. Anything else?
I worked on with Josh, printing out a summer work plan. And I didn't make copies for everybody, but I can email it, or if anybody wants to look at this. It's really just the same outline for month to month, and then there's a list on the last page for specific projects, locations for ditching, locations for stone lining, culverts that we hope to get replaced, and then some potential contracted services. Another thing I thought about adding to this was some tree work, which would also be contracted services, but usually around when budget money is available, we start looking at potential projects. Everybody kind of puts their head together on projects that are important. It's not a bunch of money, but if we keep after it, then we don't have bigger expenses when we don't have the money, so.
Well, I guess that's the thing maybe to bring up is paving, we probably gotta get that up to bid.
Yeah.
I know we haven't talked much, but I'd like to at least pick up where we left off last year, because we didn't do any of the stuff we sent out to bid.
Yeah.
You know, at least start there, get all those aprons done we talked about, and I think there was Dairy Woods was a short one, Scott Pat, and might have been Melody Hill, I don't remember. Like Shane said this morning, you know, we could add a little bit more to it maybe, but.
Well, and I think the way that, a lot of our focus ended up being potentially projects that will be paid for by FEMA, we could be left with a little bit of budget from last year that could allow us to do a little bit extra, but I know that's theoretical at this point.
That's
where
if we
gonna
get any
land.
money from FEMA. every
Exactly.
time.
Well, the good news is that FEMA has basically cleaned house with the people at, Vermont level and brought in new people, and they've been really responsive just, since Friday. And today, Bill was connecting with them.
Bill was excited this morning again,
Yeah,
so.
knock on wood, they're being helpful and reactive, and making sense.
That's good.
Taylor and Josh, when the fourth person is added for the summer workload, is there any conversation about maybe trying to get it ahead of the poison parsnip with mowing? I know mowing was what it was last year, but I think we've got some roads that have some tricky patches of it, and it would be nice if it could get a double mow maybe to get a little bit ahead of it. Or at least to keep it where it is and not.
Well, there's sort of two answers to that. One is we definitely want to get on a regular mowing schedule, and with the additional person, I think that will be more feasible. The other is, when we discussed it before, actually controlling poison parsnip is a pretty tall task. That, like, the timing of mowing is not a guarantee. Also, the swath that we mow may not even reach all of it. If if it's 10 feet from the road, or if it's outside of what we mow, there could be some that remains and continues to seed and stuff like that. So the idea of eliminating it is probably, there's got to be another measure other than mowing.
Of course.
Certainly, the effort to get the mowing done timely, and I don't know, twice on some, that's probably further. It'd be nice to just get it all done once first. But getting caught up with, like...
Well, it's been slow because we're trying to catch up for the years, in my eyes, that they weren't mowed. back where they should have been.
So we still have machine
We're
work.
quite a lot in the past, from 10 years. So,
I think we still have some catching up with the machine work to do, using the chipper head to prepare for the mower, so that we're not like cutting down trees with the mower. So if we get caught up on some of that, which it's ongoing, but it's hard to get all the way around because that machine is slow, but it does a nice job, but you can't. The first year we thought we were gonna do our roadside mowing with it, and it didn't turn out to be the right piece of equipment. I mean, it does a specific job, but it's not roadside mowing. So now we have the roadside mower. You send that piece of machinery out ahead of that. It clears the path for the maintenance to be done with the right equipment. So,
and we've done a lot of pruning this winter, when there was no storms or not much going on. The boys were out with the pole saw and chipper, and, we did quite a lot of clearing, but now we've got to do the cleanup. But
Yeah, and I mean, this might be a completely different summer, but it's just nice to sort of keep it top of mind, because when it's blazing out there and you can see it, and you recognize how dangerous it is, if you get mixed up in it, it would just be nice if we can
No.
get it, just keep fighting the good fight. You know, I'm not saying we're gonna
Right.
eradicate it, that's pretty much impossible.
no, I agreed though. I think the effort is, everybody has the same goals. It's the implementation with the hiring and the equipment and the process.
Great, thank you.
Well, just to touch base on your question, have you ever met with the Forest Service on that? Because I've actually had meetings with them, they say that stuff's rooted 8 feet down.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I mean, it is a hard thing to get rid of. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, the only way to just dig 8 feet down, I mean, because they go actually out into their government cuts and stuff, and they hand pull it when it's dormant to try to get ahead of it and stuff, but it's nasty stuff. And
Yes.
And to back Josh, I mean, it's hard. I mean, there is no right time to mow it, because it's a timing thing, and you get this one, then you'll bring this one along.
And mowing actually spreads it too.
It does, it does. I mean,
If you mow it at the wrong time, but if you mow it at the right time, it doesn't spread it.
Well, and to your point, if it's lowered out of the way, whether it comes back again, not being the objective. If the objective is more just to lay it down so that if people are around, then it's not like as tall as you are necessarily. So
Right. I mean, I'm just
there's a
inquiring about managing it. that's
right.
all.
There's a win that falls short of eradication, but
Right.
it might be an improvement anyway.
Right.
So.
No, I understand.
But I think
It's tricky.
more conversation about the fourth person and the potential part-time, and I don't know the timing for that conversation, but we're ready. I think it's time.
I'm getting bothered a lot by somebody, so. Now I've handed a couple applications out, and one fellow said he can't change positions right now, so he's not even applying. The other, I guess it would be one more, and I haven't heard anything,
Has it been posted?
well, that's the other thing. I haven't seen it posted anywhere yet.
Hasn't been posted, I mean, I haven't been given the go-ahead to do it, I'm happy to make it happen.
Yeah, you can start posting it.
I feel like we're ready, yeah.
It could take some time to find the right person, so there's probably no harm in getting it.
Well, and I think in the meantime, the consideration for the part-time applicant that we had is something else to consider too. I don't know if it's the timing of that either, if we do that in conjunction with trying to find the full-time, or how that plays out. But I think that seasonally and just timing-wise, we need that. Need that extra person.
Well, it would be nice to give you all support you need, the support that you need to continue the momentum. It's been a tricky winter, I'm sure everyone's tired, and to have some extra hands would be,
Well, it's the thing, Nick's on
Probably welcome.
vacation this week, so we're down to 2 guys, and, we had all the flooding Friday, and it's tough to keep up. The 4th would definitely be a help, I think. Right?
No, there's no doubt, love, you got my
You say-
support.
you go to Forest,
That's
right?
why I'm here. That's why I mean, I have my moments for sure, but help's not gonna hurt you at this point.
No.
I mean, when I've had conversations, and it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna help to get things back on track. The town's grown, all towns around here have grown, and for it.
Consistency wise too, like we've talked about, you know, the vacation time and stuff like that falls in a very short season for everybody. And if you don't have the extra personnel to cover that, it just, yeah, a wedding or a trip or a vacation. Yeah. No, I think we're spread too thin to not be paralyzed by being down a man, you know?
Yeah. Alright. Move on to 10B, consider applications for excess vehicle weight permits.
Everything all good, code and
I would move them all.
I'll second it. Was that a motion? I think things are
I
going
move to
quick.
approve the excess weight limits for Coda and Coda, Structural Wood Corp., and Casella Construction, Inc., and authorize the town administrator to execute the permits on behalf of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10C, approve letter of intent for fiscal year 2025 municipal roads and grants and aid program.
Same thing we do every year. And I guess we have to the end of this year to, I guess next fall, to finish up the 2024 grants and aid work. So, yeah, this is just for next year, and they scheduled to get roughly 17,000, if not 20,000 again. So we did that every year.
What did we specifically ask for it to be used for? Is it,
Usually we come up with projects each go-round, right? And the one for this year was supposed to be on Cody Road, which was ditching and stone lining.
Usually ditching, stone lining, culvert replacement.
yeah,
Because like we're supposed to have all our ditches stone lined by, I don't remember
I
the year.
think it's 25 or 27, you have to have a percentage.
It's sooner than it'll get done, I think.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, we're at a pretty good, I forget what our percentages we're at, but, I mean, we always had Wyndham Regional helping us too, is I think we voted to have them assist in projects.
Yes.
or did we not?
yeah, it's like,
We did.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken with any of them yet. I mean,
And tomorrow, we've got a meeting with a consultant to Fitzgerald or something like that, a consultant who's hired by the state to assist the town with a stormwater management master plan.
Yeah, Fitzgerald Environmental.
Yeah, right. And that's tomorrow, 10:30, we're meeting, Heather is part of that, because it's kind of a planning commission effort. So that's tomorrow. So maybe something will come out of that for next year's project.
I'd be happy to move that. I move to seek funding through the V-Trans 2025 Grant and Aid Program and authorize the select board chair to execute the required letter of intent on behalf of the town and town administrator to execute any necessary grant-related documents thereafter.
We have a second.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, moving on to item 11, old business. 11A, consider proposed projects for Municipal Technical Assistance Program, MTAP. So Shane and I had a discussion with a contractor who is working with Wyndham Regional Commission, and they've given us some ideas of what projects might be funded through this.
And I handed those out.
Oh, it's a separate
This is from
item.
Gretchen.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and also included in the meeting packet is a document I received late last week that spoke of changes, late changes to the project, the funding project, and that's on page 23 of 72, excuse me, 22 of 72. Anyway, like one of the things that came up was the planning commission was interested in funding the town plan. If you look at the top of page 23 of 72, if a funding source other than MTAP is available to do a project such as a municipal planning grant for a town plan update, then it won't be as competitive. So just bear that in mind. And I know that the housing commission has submitted a letter. You can speak to that, I'm sure, Melissa, that they're seeking funding to do a housing study. So that's
Actually,
distributed.
not a housing study, but a feasibility study of the Proudy property, just to see what
Is that what it is?
it's
I'm sorry.
capable or what its potential could be. So it's not necessarily a housing initiative, but it's just an overall town initiative to see what exactly can happen there.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's a prized property, and I think a lot of people have their eyes on it for a lot of different things, but nobody really knows what it can be used for. So if the money might be there through this possibility to do a feasibility study, that was kind of the idea
Would
behind
that
that.
rank fairly high?
Talking to Gretchen, she didn't think that would probably go very far as the MTAP grant goes. She didn't think that would be top of the list. We gotta have, the funding's drying up and we gotta have something big that's gonna, that we'll actually get funds for. Cause we're competing with
Well, what's
everybody else.
the master plan cost?
20,000.
Is that about what we're talking about in terms of?
No, we're talking maybe upwards to 100,000
For wait, I
for
don't think,
engineering of a project that can go forward to
Right,
FEMA mitigation grants.
right.
That's what would come out of MTAP.
And one of the things that I put together, in talking with Tom, was a list of different projects that we were thinking of related to storm stuff. If you go to page 26 and 72, I put together a list of flood-related projects. And in the red on that, those are responses from Alyssa Sabeto in the Regional Commission to assist with flood hazards. Sorry about the statement.
that's okay.
But one of the projects was regional flood resilience with Jamaica and Weston, Reinhardt Road and Barker Road box culverts, Cobble Ridge Road bridge replacement. We also talked about an alternate access to Cobble Ridge Road in Stone Hollow via Derry Woods Road. And that's, well, talk further about that. Spring Hill Road box culvert, which we're already working on. Rose Road elevation. Again, we need to lift the road there. And then an Utley Brook West River confluence, diverting the flow of Utley Brook to decrease
Effect.
dam effect. Sorry. It was probably getting late when I wrote it.
Increase the backflow.
But, and so we asked for their comments on this, and there's a pot of funding under a different part of MTAP called Access Assistance Funding Through River Project. It's the first bullet of red type. And that's being handled through the Two Rivers Ottaquechee Planning Commission. They're going to bat for 17 different towns around the state, including ours, to tackle some of the projects that are out there. Just, you know, the funding sources are really quite confusing. As, you know, what's available, what's not, and they change, as you can see, with just this MTAP thing, changed from December to this letter that we got last Thursday. It's just everything's changing on us. Anyway,
It seems like
I
somebody
reckon-
punched the gas, that it needs to be concluded on the 31st of this month.
yeah, this
It was
consultant
supposed to-
is done on the 30th.
It was supposed to go to July.
Right.
Yeah.
They said they were running out of funds and
yeah.
So who got first crack at the funds while we were following the guidelines and putting our plan together?
the people who got first crack at the funds were the small towns who don't have town administrator or many positions at all.
So some-
It was open to them only. And then we were added on after the flooding. We were only added into this because of the flooding.
So that pot of money wasn't really that whole when we got folded into the project.
Apparently, not as full as what was thought by Wyndham Regional, that's for sure.
So I guess
if you go
my-
to page 19, that's where there's the initial email we received from
Right.
Chris saying, and your town is one of 11 expansion towns, and that happened in November.
Yep, I see that, November 29th.
Yeah. So,
And that there was no pressure to get the information together is the way that I read it, not to stress
Yeah,
us
yeah.
out, I think he says. But
Yeah,
I guess my question would be for the other groups, like I can appreciate what you all have put together here and sent to Alyssa. But what can we tell the planning commission and what can we tell the housing commission? Can we send them into a different direction? Can we give them the name of someone who they can talk to try to get their initiatives met?
The planning commission can adopt the town plan and then apply for the planning, or the grant next year.
Right, that was the recommendation.
That's what we usually
of Gretchen.
use.
She
Is the-
just said, you know.
What's the grant? I forget what it was.
It's the municipal planning
Yeah,
grants.
that's usually what we always use for the town plan.
Right, that's.
Does that screw up their timetable at all, or not?
Well, that municipal planning grant, that is what's funding this South Village master plan right now.
Right.
And so we missed this year, so we would apply again next year. So what her recommendation was is that the planning commission should just readopt what we've got for a 1-year period or so, and then apply for a planning grant in the next year's round. So there's no immediacy to the town plan in some ways. I don't know all the rules on it.
This housing, I don't know if you have anything from the state level as far as housing stuff goes.
There,
Pots of money.
there are pots of money, not until the budget's passed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Is there any,
competing interests.
is there any ARPA programs still
You
available?
should stop looking to ARPA money to do anything.
Yeah.
It's overpromised, I think. So, I just want to stay with this planning commission thing first, just so we can get them the answers that they're looking for. Shane, will you share this email with Heather so that she will know what direction to go into with their timeline?
Sure.
That would be great. This way, that's answered. And then my question to you as a representative for the Housing Commission is, I should just tell them no. That it's unlikely.
I feel like there's gotta be other pots of money out there. I can't say where they are, but for housing
No, it's
initiatives.
pot.
So is it appropriate to ask Patty to contact Gretchen and see if she might be able to direct her anywhere? Or is that inappropriate?
Well,
I don't think
Gretchen's
Gretchen would be the
sorry.
person. I don't believe Gretchen's the person to reach out to.
Well, she's our representative.
No,
For
she's
this
the
MTAP
contractor for
grant
MTAP.
only.
Right,
Yeah.
but if the MTAP money's dry, could she know where to send?
I would contact Alyssa maybe.
Yeah, I would
yeah.
say contact Wyndham Regional,
Wyndham
Yeah.
Regional?
especially with Chris trying to do this sort of
Yeah.
regional look at housing. That, yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
because
and
she's a
Patty's
consultant.
working with them already,
Yeah.
so should be an easy, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make sure that we're going through the appropriate
She's a
channels.
consultant and, you know, works for Wyndham Regional and only on MTAP. I mean, we could hire her to beat the bushes and find money.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'd be willing to do that.
Another person is, and Patty knows him, is Bruce Whitney at Wyndham Windsor Regional Housing Trust, Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust. He helped us with the Hell's Peak project.
And
I mean, do you feel that there's value in looking at that piece of property for a feasibility study?
Well, we are looking at it for community wastewater.
Wastewater, but you can build
Yes.
on top, can't you?
no,
No. I mean, I would, my sense is we should wait for the engineering of that project to happen first and then see what's left over.
no, from what I
I don't know if
remember,
that's a
Chrissy said you
comprehensive way to
can't
look
build
at it.
on top of the wastewater. That
Maybe
is a
we'll-
no-go, that is never gonna be built on,
Okay, I can, great, that's great.
if I remember correct.
Okay, I can always contact Chrissy also and
I've never seen pictures of playing fields.
actually I have a meeting with them
Playing
tomorrow
fields.
night.
I don't
so-
know.
Perfect, I have
Yeah,
a
like-
meeting tomorrow night
Like
with
playing fields you
wastewater,
could do,
so
but I
I'll
don't
just
think
Oh, there you go.
it's-
Roll it in.
roll
Sure,
right
why
in. Okay, well, thank you for answering those
Yeah.
questions.
But one of the, if you read the letter that the email we received from Gretchen, she and Alyssa put their heads together and looked at these projects that I had outlined insofar as flooding issues are concerned. And they're suggesting we should see that, their feelings the best option is to submit a funding application for a scoping study for alternate access to Cobble Ridge Road and Stone Hollow. There could be a connection from Derry Woods Road out there. Could be a lot less expensive than a new bridge. New bridges can take forever, be
Who
very
owns that
expensive.
property right along the river?
Well, there's an old town right away that goes through there too.
There is.
Uh-huh.
It's,
So somebody
it's
needs to
not
explore.
very passable.
But, yeah,
Not,
It's a
it's
pretty
built now, but
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
Somebody filled it in.
Well,
I mean, there's some engineering and surveying that would need to be done. And it might, if that were to happen, it could be a much less expensive and sooner to occur project than rebuilding the bridge.
yeah.
well, I'm happy to move that. Would you like it?
Go ahead.
All right, so I move to approve submitting on MTAP Statement of Work application for the following project. A scoping study for alternate access to Cobble Ridge Road and Stone Hollow via Derry Woods Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Moving on to 11B, appoint board members to short-term rental working group. I believe we have two from the, what's it, housing in here?
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Take care of it.
Have a good night. Somewhere in here, we got a letter.
I did mention that, on page 32, we got notice from from Patty Eisenhower that they appointed Bill Sinsegali and Paul Abraham.
I would approve that.
I don't think you need to approve it. I think you will authorize them to decide it, but no harm in doing that, though.
But you have a motion here, right?
That would be for you and maybe Mr. Kavanaugh to join.
That's for select board representative.
Yes, that working
sorry.
group.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll be a headache. I'll be a headache, but I'll do it.
Well, Tom, that's why I want you to be there.
How many select board members did we say?
Two.
Two.
If I recall minutes from the last meeting, Martha, you
Yes, I
did
think they may have
say
said,
that you would
put me on.
be happy to
Okay.
participate. So,
I just have one request for the working group though, to leave the newly hired short-term rental person alone for a little bit while he gets the program up and running.
well, I think once once the committee's formed, then you
Yeah.
guys can figure that out. But yeah, so.
Okay, Melissa, you're gonna move.
I move to appoint Tom Kavanaugh and Martha Dale as the select board's representatives to the short-term rental working group.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you both.
Thank me up. Moving on to 11C, Village Wastewater Project, consider connection of town facilities.
Included in the meeting packet is an example of what was sent out to over 120 property owners. And I don't know what kind of response we've received from some. I did get an email from someone today, sent it to me, but one of the things that the town needs to do is determine whether or not it wants to connect its facilities. The only buildings we have in either area is this one, the highway department and the town hall. I would recommend all three of them get connected.
Did notice they asked us about Custer Sharp too, even though that's
Yeah,
not,
that shouldn't,
Sandberg was on there too.
it's not our building.
Yeah.
Sandberg. There's nothing on there.
One of them, maybe that was the
no,
one that
it
had
starts
the
with a B.
zeros.
It starts with a B. What
Yeah,
is
it
it?
wasn't clear, and I wrote down what some of them were.
Backish buyout parcel, is that?
The back, yeah, that's one next
That's
to,
that was a FEMA buyout.
yeah,
Putting
Right.
wastewater capacity there is not a thing.
yeah, right.
That's the one down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, including Custer Sharp, you wouldn't do, I don't even know what.
Let them make the
Yeah, I
decision,
just did it.
yeah.
You know,
You just pushed a button and a bunch of
Yeah.
addresses popped
No.
up.
Right. All the non-paying customers,
Yep.
essentially.
Well, I'd be happy to move it if you want.
I would assume that the town, if we were connected, we would pay our share just like everybody else,
Yeah, we would pay a fee. We'd have to budget a fee.
which would
Just
keep
move money.
right back in. That's also assuming that we have a need.
We're only gonna have two.
And that's not great. I mean, it has been here a long time, and we did have it TV'd a year or so, 2 years ago. And it's okay, but if we want to expand usage here and have larger groups, whatever, it's not a bad idea to.
And there's not a permit in the expansion capacity or anything like that, so.
Yeah, I strongly recommend we connect.
Right.
I think it
One less
shows
thing to
our,
worry about.
and it shows our support of the project.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the cost of a replacement system here would be much higher than the cost of the
There's that
connection one
argument.
time.
The only reason that I would consider pausing that Main Street, if all the capacity was used up by townspeople that needed it more, or,
Yeah.
right, yes. So maybe we would consider taking remaining spots or available spots after it's been offered to the general public, or something along those lines.
But we're not, even by signing whatever we have, it's not obligating.
Right.
It's just saying, yeah, we're interested.
Yep, just a comment, really.
No, I appreciate.
Anyway,
Wastewater Committee, the town's strong interest in connecting the town hall, the town office, and the town highway garage to the proposed South Londonderry Community wastewater system.
Second.
Hi.
Move on to 11D, Town Office Renovation Project. Consider architectural.
Yeah, just, we had some changes occur, and so there would be an additional $5,000 total for, you know, just the permitting cost, which was $12,800, which was mentioned at a previous meeting. So there's some additional costs there. Yeah, but it would really boil down to only $1,400. Right, I misread one thing.
I
Yeah,
thought it
so-
was 4,000 and 2,400.
Well, it includes 5,000 for some items that are not needed. 24 less the 5,000, so it's not a big deal, really. In the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. But authority to sign off on it.
Makes sense.
So it's,
It's a $1,400 item.
Are we ready for that motion?
Yep. So you'd like to make it.
The dollar amount's not in there, it's just the
Yeah.
previously approved. Accept and approve the proposal for amendment to the contract for professional architectural services with J.A. Sacaccio Art Shop for the town office renovation project. Previously approved by the shop for the town office renovation project. Previously approved by the board on 4/17/2023, and authorize the town administrator to execute any service.
Second.
before we vote, can I just have some clarification? So I'm looking back on page 42, the motion that Martha made on the 17th, the number 2 in that motion includes 50,000 after review by the town attorney. Is that one, on page 41, the 100, supposed to be the $150,000 amount? And if so, that would be an $8,725 increase.
Well, that's
That's the total cost.
right. What was approved was, you said was, I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe I'm reading your motion
150 was approved.
improperly. It says, number one was the estimated cost, which was $129. And number two was accepting their proposal as submitted and authorize the town administrator to sign any documents necessary for hiring of the firm to conduct the work, including a service contract in the amount of up to $150,000. That new total cost is the new number. That's more than $1,400.
Page right here is from April, from that meeting.
Yeah, that's.
The 158.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay.
that was
so-
from that meeting where we made
Okay.
that motion.
So then
Why
that answers my question.
It was
Then
150, I can't remember. But
that's within the,
Yeah, so far
Okay.
we're all set. I just wanted to, before I signed off on a contract thing, I wanted to get your approval.
thank you for answering.
And I don't know exactly where we are on the budget, you know, what we've spent so far exactly. I don't know, I just haven't had time to look that up.
Maybe you can bring that to the next meeting. What
Yeah.
was sent so far?
Yeah, have something, some good news hopefully on Wednesday. We may have to have a special meeting within the next 2 weeks, the next regular 3 weeks.
It's May 6th, I believe.
Yeah.
We had talked about, in the off month, when we have actually 3 Mondays, or,
5.
yeah, 3 meetings, or 3 potential meeting times that are 2 weeks apart, that we might fill in that date, if we had stuff to talk about, so maybe it falls on that. It'll only be a week to the May one.
Right.
So.
It's not.
We're gonna be spending a lot of time together.
I think as we talked about it earlier, Shane, it all depends on what Socotra do to vet these contractors and the bids, right? Could take the 3 weeks.
Say again, no?
It all depends on what John Socotrio has to do to vet these builders and everything and look at all.
Yeah, you can
It
do a
could
bit
take 3 weeks,
tabulation and, you know, figure out.
or it might not.
You know, because some are gonna have, we don't have a specific start date. We're asking them to give us their best start date, because it may be cheaper for them to start in July, because they may have other projects lined up. So we've got 5 good contractors who showed up at the mandatory meeting, and we'll see what they come up with.
That's good news. That's a change from what we've experienced in the past.
Well, the
So.
word I'm getting is that, you know, they like the idea of a big project that they're gonna be here for a while. They're not skipping around and mobilizing to different projects, and they know municipalities pay timely.
It's a good job.
Yeah.
I don't believe we voted on this one yet, so all
No,
those
sorry.
in favor?
Discussing. Aye.
Aye. Alright, moving on to item 12, new business. 12A is Memorial Park contract. I forget the word. Contract award for storm damage and related excavation services at Memorial Park.
So we got it down a little late, I'm not sure how much you can get for bids to see.
Yeah, they got
We have a backup.
New package.
Thank you. So are there any questions?
Is there a recommended?
Yes, so Parks Board met on Thursday and recommended going with Boulder excavation, which you have them both there. So you got one from Hunter and one from Boulder.
Boulder, you mean Hunter?
We have one from Hunter and one from Boulder. And they recommended going with Boulder.
They're out of Morrisville.
Just looking at it. Why did you guys go with the one that's 16,000 versus? Is it about the same? Okay. We'll have to-
13,000 and
13,060.
717.
Yeah.
25. Obviously, it's not, they're different, but when we put out the bid, specifically asked for a description of the work and a description of the damage that we would incur from said work and or what would be done with that. The bid from Hunter was simply just numbers. There was no actual plan submitted. With Boulder, you can see a thorough explanation of the work, as well as Joel, representing Boulder, was the only one who came to the optional meeting. Definitely was there and explained everything that they would be looking to do, as well as they said in the bid, including a plan as part of his background is pond maintenance and health. So actually giving us a plan to maintain it annually so we would never have to do this again, barring, of course, any major water events. So definitely seemed like a far more thorough bid.
And the only thing that we noted that we needed to talk to him about was the location where he was going to dump what was removed from the pond is actually in the floodplain, and so can't be dumped there. But with the upper parking lot area, we can create a spot that is not in the floodplain that we can have the fill left. So he marked a spot on his plan, and we were like, oh, that spot's not going to work. But we can help him find a spot that is on higher ground.
So nobody bid on the clay relining?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we kind of learned soon after we put that in that most likely we would not need that. But both companies obviously felt that was unnecessary. When doing a little minor excavation of the pond itself, it doesn't look like there was ever, or any time very recently, that there was a clay base to begin with. So
Would that
Other
prevent
than
leaking?
natural.
other than natural, exactly.
Right, it's
Yeah,
naturally
for water retention. So
clay.
since that hasn't been an issue that I've been told about, it didn't seem like a necessary expenditure. But obviously we've got the flood damage, but even in the rest of the pond there's significant vegetation growth, hence the need for doing a full scrape, but 2 different invoices because part of that is FEMA.
And part 1 was FEMA, right?
Part 1 is
Yeah.
FEMA.
So they might like a better plan written out probably too.
Other than that,
Wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
Can't hurt with FEMA.
Yeah, they're on this side.
Paperwork.
Yeah.
Alright, unless there's any further discussion, anyone care to make a motion?
Tell me it's Boulder, and what's the lump sum amount?
17,025, I do believe.
025 or 25?
025. 17025.
Okay, I'll do it. I move to accept the bid from Boulder Excavating in the lump sum amount of $17,025 for the storm-related and other repairs to Memorial Park, which was submitted to the town's March 22nd, 2024 invitation to bid, and authorize the town administrator to execute any documents necessary for the hiring of the contractor to provide the necessary services.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
12B.
Yep.
Oh, and Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yep.
I can make that motion.
To the Parks Board for a 3-year term ending April 30th, 2027.
All those in favor? Aye. 12C, annual appointments, representatives of the Deerfield Valley and Vermont Communication Union Districts.
Admittedly, I did not do a public announcement on it. I just ran out of time on a lot of things. But John Hankin, I spoke to today, just for Southern Vermont, and he agreed to do Deerfield Valley as well. So he can come in sometime to explain what's going on with them all. But you know, some is I think Deerfield Valley is kind of slowing down a little bit. But you know, I don't understand fully what's going on with either of them. But he could come in the future. But anyway, it's great he stepped up for both of them.
Yeah, I'd nominate him as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Is there,
Or changes.
is there any requirement for this position?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Is he not a resident?
They're both.
I don't
at a
believe
regional-
he's full-time resident.
Yeah. As far as I know, he shows up to the meetings.
Sure. I mean, I just didn't know if there was some kind of a requirement or not.
I don't know. Not aware.
Well, let's vote him in before I muddy the water. So he's gonna get both. John Hankin as the town's representative to the Southern Vermont Communications Union Governing Board
For a one-year term.
for a one-year term.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to appoint John Hankin as the town's representative to the Deerfield Valley Communications Governing Board for a one-year term.
Second.
And 12D, third class liquor license, Upper Tamarack Incorporated, the Upper Pass Lodge.
Can you tell me the difference between a third class and a second class liquor license?
Good Lord. Second class is beer and third class is alcohol. Yeah, but then first class is serving on site and consumption on site. And second class, I think, is just retail.
Yeah. Well, and first class is beer and wine served on site.
Right.
So there's two for serving on site, first and second, and then third class is for stores,
Is the retail.
retail. Yeah, third
Class is beer, wine,
third,
and
yeah.
spirits.
Right.
Yeah,
Third,
Right.
That makes sense.
yeah.
first class is beer and wine only.
And I'll just note on the Upper Tamarack that there is also a pending outside consumption permit and first class license. Received the town's portion of the payment for that, so you will see that in the future.
I move to approve a third class liquor license for Upper Tamarack Inc., also known as the Upper Pass Lodge, related to the property located at 420 Magic Mountain Access Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
12E, second class liquor license, O'Connor's Corner owner.
I move to approve a second-class liquor license for O'Connor's Corner Store LLC, also known as The Corner, related to property located at...
All those in favor?
Aye.
12F, tobacco license, O'Connor's Corner Store LLC, The Corner.
I move to approve a tobacco license for O'Connor's Corner Store LLC, also known as The Corner, related to property located at 1 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a quick question, or inquiry maybe. Does the separation or the creation of the tobacco license, is this like paving the way for the cannabis stuff?
No.
Or has not,
No,
like,
it's
what's
just a
the?
change in. It wasn't that many years ago, actually. Tobacco license were also approved by the select board. And then they stopped that briefly for some reason, and it was like, if you were also applying for a second class liquor license, then it didn't need approval, and now they've gone back to the second class.
Which might have to do with the fair stuff, doesn't it? Maybe.
No, I think it's just process. Ask for them to be approved by local, separate from local cannabis board stuff.
Fair enough.
Alright, moving on to 12G, second class liquor license, Mike and Tammy's Main Street Deli Market.
I move to approve a second-class liquor license for Market related to property located at 2170 Vermont Route 11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 12H tobacco license, Michael and Tammy Clough, Mike and Tammy's Main Street Deli Market.
I move to approve a tobacco license for Mike and Tammy Clough, otherwise known as Mike and Tammy's Main Street Deli Market related to property located at 2170 Vermont Route 11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If there are edits to the town meeting minutes, just send them to me whenever, and then at your next meeting, they'll be all cleaned up and ready for your approval.
Thank you.
A quick question, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Someone's complaining about an RV that's been parked at the mill for a couple days. It's got nothing to do with us, right?
It's Ed Steele.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer the phone, so you're gonna have to go to his house.
There was a van there the night before the RV too.
Really?
Like, I've noticed
Do I have to get it?
the last couple days,
Or
people are
The trees.
camping out.
There's-
I mean, they're not.
Notice it's less than
But you
a
do
dollar.
it for ski lodge parking lot.
Yeah,
so why not?
I mean, they should just go to Madison's Speed Lot. No street lights.
I just wonder if like somebody's like, oh yeah, great.
It's about like by the river.
Nobody will bother
You can walk to town.
Then it becomes a spot.
Yeah.
Alright, we're on to 12I, I think it is. Executive session, the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer employed for 1 VSA 313A3.
I move to enter executive session to consider the appointment or employment of a town employee pursuant to Title I VSA Section 313A3 and invite town administrator Shane O'Keefe to attend the executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's gonna be
never
wicked
what you
this
think
time.
it
It was the short-term rental
Well,
administrator.
that's right.
That was it.
And that's why you don't, if someone, that's stuck in someone's craw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna do the research.
No, you're
on it,
right.
And you
You're
should
right.
be defensive and make sure that
You're
we
right.
nailed it and don't
Yeah.
do anything we're not supposed to do.
No, you're right.
All right, we are out of executive session. Anyone like to make the last motion?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce, again.
Yes, thank you, Bruce.
As I keep saying, it keeps me in touch with.
Yeah.